Hello everyone! Welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing the speed paint of this cute little bakery illustration that I recently completed. So feel free to grab a snack, grab your sketchbook, draw along if you want, and enjoy. So I spent a little while trying to figure out really what I wanted this bakery to look like, what I wanted my design to be, and what the smaller details were. I was referencing a lot of things like My Little Pony and just other cartoony illustrations. I've been really working on pushing my shape language recently, and that's something that I want to continue to work on as I improve on my art journey. I also knew that I wanted there to be some kind of very interesting windows in here. Windows are something that really fascinate me. I feel like they can really bring life to a space, and I wanted you to be able to see all of the fun little cakes and breads through the bakery window, and just light to be able to pour into this building. Once I figured out generally what types of elements I wanted to be in this space, it was very easy to kind of copy and paste and just use Transform Distort in order to get all of my beams and all of my windows sort of into the right perspective as well. I'm doing the same sort of method to get all of these straight lines. Basically what I did was I used the line tool and I cloned that a bunch, and then I turned it into its own brush. So now if I need kind of just a bunch of straight lines, I can easily take that, paste it on my canvas, and Transform Distort into the right positioning. And it's a really easy way to get a lot of lines that are kind of all fitting within the same perspective very quickly without having to measure out each of the individual line to your vanishing point. So life update time, because it's been a while since I've made a YouTube video, but I did finish school back in May. I graduated out of my art school's illustration program. They sort of have two different tracks that you can pick from, so you can pick to go down a more generalized illustration route, or you can choose to go down more of a visual development concept art sort of route. And I ended up going with the visual development route because I have a very strong interest in background art, a very strong interest in designing spaces and environments, and I figured that the classes and the course offerings in the visual development program would get me closer to where I really wanted to be with my work, and it was really helpful for me because I feel like it was really focused in on what I wanted to do. There was literally a whole semester dedicated to designing environments, and so that was super helpful for me to just, learn how to really fill a space, about composition, about color, about storytelling, and all of that fun stuff that you really need in a visual development portfolio. And it's really scary right now seeing sort of the state of the animation industry and threats of AI, and just seeing everything that's been going on and all the layoffs and lack of jobs, especially straight after graduating. There's a lot of us who are, I think, in the same boat where, we worked really hard for 4 years and it's very difficult to find work now. But I am determined either way. Ultimately, I love to create art, and so I'm not going to let a lack of jobs right now stop me from creating work. And I'm going to keep working and keep improving my craft so that when an opportunity comes for me, it'll be there, or I'll be ready, I should say. In the meantime, I've been trying to get sort of involved with conventions, and that was really a path I didn't expect to go down. I had a couple of professors who talked about it during our classes, told us it was a pretty viable source of income, but I never did see myself going to conventions and really traveling around and selling my work. It really wasn't until graduation where I decided maybe I'll try a couple of small markets, see how it is, and I discovered I kind of really like it. I really like getting to interact with people. I really like getting to share my work, talk about the different things that my work reminds people of. That's really fun. And also just the fact that I'm sort of an ambivert, so I can be introverted, but I can also be very extroverted, and I like to socialize with people, and so it lets me have an excuse to interact with people and not be sitting at my desk all day. So, on the topic of conventions, I do have a few lined up for the first half of the year that I'm really excited about. The first big one that I have is Emerald City Comic Con, which is going to be in Seattle, Washington. And that is March 6th through 9th. I will be in the Artist Alley. And it's been very exciting to prepare for, but also very nerve wracking. This is the biggest event that I will ever be exhibiting my art at. And it's been a lot figuring out branding and what type of work I want to exhibit, and really just how I want to present myself, how I want to present my work, has been a big hurdle for me. But it's a good learning experience, and I'm ready to see what will happen. I've never traveled really this far for any sort of event. I did go to Lightbox Expo, but that was, just to go, and I went with a couple classmates. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what will happen, see how my table's going to turn out. Really just trying to figure out and find my pathway, and if this is really something that I want to do and something that I want to continue exploring. I think the most nerve-wracking part about doing big conventions is that now there's almost sort of stakes. You obviously want to make back the money that you invested into going to the convention. You want to use the time wisely. You want to be able to meet people and network and make friends and all of that fun stuff as well. So it's a lot of preparation, a lot of mental preparation, a lot of preparation of my art materials, creating more work, and this is also, this print that I'm working on now is going to be one of the prints that I'll hopefully have available. So now that I have some sort of groundwork down of what my tight sketch looks like, I'm doing a couple of color studies, and this really helps me figure out what sort of vibes I want the piece to come across as. I have my colors that I default to, and I'm sure that a lot of artists have their colors that they default to, but doing something like color studies is really helpful because, after you kind of go to your default, like these are the colors I'm going to go with kind of colors, you start to kind of try things, and you start to kind of discover different pathways of solving the problem that you're trying to solve. You discover different moods, different feelings you can convey, and doing something like color studies can be really helpful because you can discover all of those different pathways that you might have not thought of right away. Now it is time to lay in my flat colors, and the way that I usually background paint is that I work from the very far back up to the front. So I will start with the sky, I'll start with any trees in the background, things like that, and I work my way sort of up to the foreground. And I know that typically a lot of things in the background, we have atmospheric perspective that we're working with, right? So it's going to be a little bit lighter, it's going to be a little bit brighter, kind of depending on how you're painting it. In this case, I did sort of start with making the sky very blue, and also the background buildings very blue, and I added some background buildings in there just because I wanted this to feel like it was actually a building that existed sort of on a street corner, and it wasn't just kind of just plopped into space. I did try adding a couple of buildings around it, but I really wanted the focus to be on this big, grandiose, cool bakery that you probably don't see every day. But I did still want there to be a sense of life sort of happening within the environment. I think I'm always going to associate this painting sort of with Dungeons and Dragons a little bit, and this is because I was painting this while playing Dungeons and Dragons online with my friends. We get to play every week, and it's always a great time. I like to get to catch up with my college friends, see how they're doing, see how life is, and always just, getting to interact with them, seeing all of our different characters, all the weird shenanigans, and my friend who's our DM is so creative, such a good storyteller, and it's really exciting to sort of see the story that they're telling unfold every week. I had fun working on this piece over a couple of D&D sessions, especially painting it. If you also play Dungeons & Dragons, leave a comment down below and tell me about your character or your current campaign. I'd love to start a chat in the comments. This road and extra space was quite a challenge to figure out what to do with. First of all, the perspective was kind of wonky, and I was purposely wonkifying it, but there is sort of this very fine line to exaggerating your perspective and having accurate perspective, where if you exaggerate too much, it can look a little bit weird, and I think I was having trouble with this on the crosswalks and also the shadows of the roads. Lighting in general is also always something that I've always struggled a little bit as an artist. I always get very excited about all the different fun colors I can have and how bright and bold they can be, and sometimes I forget to think about checking my values. Now, a good way to combat this is to add a plain black layer at the top of your composition, and you're going to set that mode to color. And what you can do is you can turn that off and sort of check your values. And it's really important to make sure that your painting reads well in just black and white before you jump to all of these fun colors, because if it doesn't read well in black and white, people are going to get really confused looking at it from afar, even if you do have really cool colors on it. So now as I wrap this up, I'm adding in some other details, things to sort of make it feel alive. A piece of cake spilled on the ground, a little bird standing on the little business, just little things like that to sort of make this feel like an alive scene that people go to. I'm also playing around with the colors a little bit. I ended up making the sky pink instead of the blue like I originally had, and this has to do with what I was talking about earlier about my default colors versus really what I can do with mood and sort of making it that more dreamy vibe that I was going for when I originally sketched this project out. I also play around with the idea of adding more characters and more tables and things, but I was very worried about making the scene very cluttered. I ultimately decide upon a lot of leaves and overgrowth just to kind of make it feel like there is some plants that are here, and again, more life, more color, more vibes, things like that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like and comment down below. And if you would like to, you can subscribe because there are going to be more videos just like this coming very soon. And I'm very excited to share more about life as an artist, and just go back to kind of documenting really what this is like and what I'm creating and things like that. In the description box down below, you can find links to all my social medias, my portfolio website, and of course my online shop if you are interested in purchasing any of my work. I look forward to talking to y'all in the next video, and I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.